So I have this new project that I want to work on, and it's a handheld game console. It's not really new. A lot of people have already done this before, but I want to do it myself because I want to learn more about electronics, and I think this is the most fun way of doing that. So before we actually do anything, what I needed to work on first was to make sure that my display is working. This one right here is the SSD 1306 display. I bought this from China, and it's very cheap, and it's also a two-color display. So since this is the very first time that I'll be doing this, I wanted to test it out first. So I looked for an existing project that already has a code just so I could see if I could test this display. And I found one, and after reading up about it, checking out its code, I learned that yes, it is actually working. What I used for this one is the Adafruit graphics library and the Adafruit SSD 1306 library. It works pretty well. I like how it can draw lines, draw text, and it seems very fast, as you can see here. But what I want to change is that I want to use the ATTiny85 chip. It's so far one of the chips that I love working on, which I used on my previous project as well, which you could see here. I don't have to use an ATTiny, it's just that I really like working with it, so that's what I'll be using for this project. But the problem with this is that the Adafruit graphics library doesn't actually work for the ATTiny85. So I needed to look for a different library that could draw graphics onto the screen. Thankfully, this project right here already did what I wanted to do, and we now know that it actually works. And he also shared his code as well as his other files. So looking at the files, we could see that he already has a Space Invaders and a couple of games that work on his machine. So to test that, I hooked it up, I placed it in my ATTiny, and there were actually a lot of difficulties with this. I had to do a lot of stuff, do a lot of figuring out, do some testing. So after a while of testing the library, I was confident enough to load this Space Invaders project file onto my ATTiny85. And as you can see, it now works. So that's it. That's for this week. I plan to continue this project. I am fortunate that someone has already done this. That means I don't have to spend too much time to figure things out. So thank you very much for dropping by. I'll be making another update for next week. See ya.